Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of From Tip to Tail. This podcast is sponsored by Cuddly, which is the only dedicated crowdfunding platform built specifically for animal welfare organizations worldwide. My name is Sydney.
And I'm Bridget. Today we're speaking with Heather from Barktown Rescue. Their mission is to find a loving home for all pets in need. We look forward to the day when there is a home for every pet. Don't we all? Let's get started. Hi, Heather. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. So, have you been with Barktown since the very beginning here, or?
I have not. I came into Barktown, I guess it's going on 7 years now. I started off just kind of fostering for them, and within less than a year, when we opened our facility in 2014, so then that's kind of when I came on full time.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
It happened really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard that a few different times, that people start out fostering and it's like tends to be a gateway. You're like, I can't stop.
Yeah, right.
Right.
And it gets you all involved. So what do you do for Barktown right now?
So I'm the president of Barktown. I guess oversee. I'm the director of everything, basically.
Like I do it all.
Basically, yeah. Because we have a facility, it's more than just like running the rescue itself. You've got to run the facility. You've got to do the daily things with the animals at the rescue and keep. I mean, we're very, as far as staffed wise, we're 98% volunteers still. So,
Wow.
you know, we still try to keep it mostly volunteer if we can.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it would be helpful to have more actual employees, but that's the way it goes sometimes. But I mean, we still have to manage the place, manage the volunteers, manage the employees, that kind of thing. So I do that in addition to like being the director and the president of the organization.
Yeah, wow. Well, so then how did Barktown start initially?
So it was 2009. The founder and former director worked closely with the county shelter there. And I mean, it was just one of those things because it's kind of a rural area. And there needed to be a no-kill animal rescue there. The Nelson County Humane Society but they were small. They've grown some too, but they were small back then too. And unfortunately, the county that we are located in is Nelson County, so it's one of the bigger counties in Kentucky. And their euthanasias, I mean, it was their numbers. I don't remember what the numbers were, but their numbers were pretty high as far as the euthanasias of dogs and puppies and kittens and cats and that kind of thing. So they would first start by like transporting, and then it became foster base. And then, like I said, in 2014, we had an old elementary school donated to us. So it's kind of, like I said, it blew up kind of quick, but it's been a blessing for sure.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing. How cute is that? Like a little elementary school full of rescue
Definitely.
dogs. That's so great. Well, then, I mean, gosh, how are things running then during all of this? Is your facility still open, or?
Well, we kind of pretty much halted in April. I mean, we don't get a lot of public traffic to begin with because we are out in a rural area. And as far as adoptions go, we don't do same day adoptions. We still process applications. We still do meet and greets, try to do some home visits and things like that. So it's still a process to adopt from us. So in a sense, that hasn't changed. We did halt adoptions in April last month. We've got to keep our volunteers safe. We have some volunteers that were considered in that high risk category. So, we always need more volunteers, but our daily steady volunteers, it was not worth the risk to me. Mm-hmm. I need them there just as much as the animals need them there, and they wanted to be there. So that was the only way that I knew to do that, was just kind of completely close it down to the public. But what kind of halted us to adoptions is we hadn't even had time to like find PPE and that kind of thing. We were getting more applications than dogs we had, which sounds great in theory, but looking through a lot of those applications, people were just bored. So, like the empty the shelter things, those are all great until months down the road when several of them come back, because people don't think things through. So people are home right now. They have all this time to spend with an animal. What's going to happen when you do go back to normal? I mean, what are you going to do with the animal? So a lot of times we would ask them that, and, it wasn't going to fit in their lifestyle. So I said, okay, we've got to slow down. We have got to slow down and sift through these applications. So we'll just halt adoptions. We'll sift through these applications. If there's anyone serious, they will wait. Believe it or not, we actually had a few, and a couple of them are getting adopted in the next couple of weeks. One of them is like a long-term resident that's been returned a couple of times. He needs some training. He's got he's a scared dog. So he needs to work on his confidence. So he needs some training, and he has to come back and visit for the dog to get to know him. And he's willing to do it. So it was actually worth the wait to him to find the dog that he wanted. So, some good and bad come out of it. In terms of adopting, it is a great thing that so many people wanted to, but it was an immediate thing. It wasn't a long-term thing for a lot of people. And
Totally.
I hate to deal with returns anyway. It's frustrating. So.
Yeah.
I know that does get, and I think that's what a lot of organizations are so nervous about. Yes, they've like adopted out so many, and even like the influx of fosters, like now they see like what the world could be like, right? if everyone was just like, well, I've got space, sure, I'll take in a foster dog. And I think everyone's a little bit nervous for like what's going to happen when the wheels start turning again.
Yep.
No, so it is so great though that you found someone that, I don't know, is willing to hold out, is willing to put in the work for that dog. Especially since he's been long-term. That's got to be a really special feeling to being like, we finally found it for you. Yeah.
Because when he came in for a meet and greet, I gave him easier options. We don't always show like that particular dog. We might have a better fit for him. And I gave him easier options. I said, here's what you have to deal with the Domino. Here's this dog. He's a whole lot easier. But he's wanting to put in the work, so we'll see how it goes.
Fingers crossed. Oh man. Well, so you were talking a little bit, you have some staff, you have some volunteers. How big is your organization?
Volunteer wise, and I'm just counting like the building consistent, like everyday volunteers, we probably have about 15 or 20. So that means, because the way we operate, we do 2 shifts. So we have a morning shift. We come in, we let all of the dogs out. We've got an acre yard. So if you kind of picture it, it's an elementary school. So there's where you would go out to the playground is all fenced off. So it's an acre. It's not sectioned off as much as I would like for it to be, but if we have play groups, we let those play groups out together. They get to play in the play yard while we clean their kennels up. And their kennels are like the 10 by 10 welded wire kennel run. So they have a little bit more space than most animals would, like in a shelter environment, because that's just the way that like it's designed. We're able to do that. So we've got the space and we're able to give them a little more space. So even though it's like a 22,000 square foot building, and we, like right now we don't use the gym. That's a work in progress. Like I want that to be an indoor play yard down the road, but like in each individual classroom houses so many dogs. I think we have up to 4 kennels in one room, but they're the 10 by 10 kennels. So, you can have 4 dogs in there. We try to pair animals that we can put out together. Obviously we've got some that they're not good with other animals at all. And they have to, they have to go out alone, but we still interact with them. Maybe we play ball with them, or we just kind of do something separate with them, but that's how we do it. And we do have 1 cat room, and that's all that I want as far as cats. I love cats. There's just, they're a little bit hard. They're hard to adopt too. Kittens are great to adopt out. They're easy, but they grow up to be cats, and
Yeah.
I have 5 cats, so I'm definitely not dissing cats, but
Mhm.
we started off just as a dog rescue, so we kind of keep the minimum on cats there, and to about 12 at
Oh, yeah,
one
you're
time. So
Barktown, so I have.
right,
It has to be hard to teach all those cats how to bark. So.
Yeah.
right.
No, I mean my imagination is just running wild. I think. I
Right?
mean, picturing like them
Just like
going
a
out to
school.
recess and like
Mhm.
them being in these little
Yeah, kind of.
classrooms. That's so cute. I mean, again, it's my imagination, so
Mhm.
but it's like that sounds so amazing, and then you have all these extra spaces where you can plan out for the future, which has to be so
Yeah.
exciting for you. I mean, an indoor play yard, that's so great. That's I mean, so I mean, you're in Kentucky, so do you feel like you have because we always hear that maybe like northern states maybe don't have as many animals as like the southern states, like you tend to be
Mhm.
a little overwhelmed with how many animals like do need help. So I imagine having that space must be nice.
It is nice. Kentucky is we're still a very backward state in terms of like animal laws. I think we did move up from dead last to like 47th, so I'd say we're making like that much progress, but we're still nowhere where we need to be. Um, People are still, we've got tons of puppy mills around here. Unfortunately, there's dog fighting around here, and it's hard. It's hard to catch those people. It really is hard to catch those people because our laws aren't stiff enough, and there's not a whole lot you can do to them.
Mhm.
It was just passed this year that a vet can, like a vet wasn't even allowed to report animal abuse now up until this year.
Oh
Like
my
they
God.
just passed that. Like it was illegal for a vet to report suspected animal abuse. So,
Wow.
and it was just last year that bestiality was made illegal. So, I mean, it's like I said, we're a very backward state. So
But you're
of course,
heading in the right
I know,
direction.
right?
I
Yeah.
think we are heading in the right direction. Um, and a lot of our county shelters, because that's our primary focus, is to help relieve some of the local county shelters around us or even throughout the state. Because I mean, we've pulled all the way from Eastern Kentucky. And Eastern Kentucky is really like probably one of the worst areas in Kentucky because it is very rural. It's very, it's not modern at all. There's a lot of drugs. There's a lot of abuse. So you see a lot more. I don't know. I think it made national news about someone that shot all those horses. That
Oh
I
no.
think I did.
that
Yeah.
was out in Eastern Kentucky. Um, so we pulled a Pyrenees one time all the way from, it was almost West Virginia, and he had been shot at and beat and everything else because the owner didn't want him anymore. And they reached out to us because they really wanted to get him as far away from that area as possible.
Mhm.
So the lady pulled him from the shelter. She transported him to us, and he was, as you can imagine, he wasn't very trusting at first, and he's still a little quirky, but he has got the best home. One of our volunteers just took him home and never brought him back, so which is
Oh.
perfectly fine because he's very spoiled. So we just try to do what we can. Which I've been reaching out to shelters lately because honestly we've had some adoptions, so we're down some animals and we've got some room to help some more. So I've been kind of reaching out to them lately to see if they need any help, and that's our primary focus. We will take some owner surrenders, as it's case by case basis. It depends on the situation, but any relief we can give them so that they don't have to euthanize, that's our primary goal. And many of them have connections to the rescues up north and in Canada, so many of them do get to go up north, which is good because there's only so much we can do, and the rescues here in our state, there's only so much that we can do here, and there's so much more resources up there, and there's more homes for dogs up there. So it's just I've even loaned our van to our local humane society. They might have 20 something dogs that need to go. I said, hey, I can't take 20 dogs from you, but you can loan my van to get to get them on their first leg. So we do that kind of thing too. And in a way, you know, I say, hey, that's just as much helping as it would be if we were taking on that animal. So
Yeah, I imagine it must kind of band you all together, right?
it
Like
does. And it literally does take a village. You know, the kind of nasty side of the rescue is sometimes they like want to compete with one another, or I don't see any sense in that. You know, we're all out for the same goal, and you need to try to work with as many people as you possibly can, because it literally does take a village. The more people that band together for that goal, the more lives are going to be saved. That's my philosophy. So
yeah, especially when you're going after like legislation like that.
right.
That's, I mean, a challenge that I would not wish on my worst enemy. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like though, I mean, you're all making great strides, and I love that you're banding together to kind of come at the crisis that I think we're all too familiar with. That's so wonderful. Are you guys all opened up now around, or are you
Pretty
still
much.
locked? Oh.
I mean, we've opened up adoptions. Like I said, we're still sifting through a lot of applications, but we are moving some dogs. I haven't, I guess, officially announced opening back up, but since our governor's like, we now have like the shopping malls and things are open back up, and a lot of the like hairdressers and that sort of thing are opening up next week. So I'll probably will officially announce it next week. So if someone wanted to drop by, you know, they could drop by. But like I said, we don't get a lot of traffic anyway, so that didn't really affect us too much. But I mean, like we did a food drop recently where we try to keep our dogs on 1 or 2 brands of food. And this was just food that luckily through all this, we had a lot of donations sent to us. So we're still doing pretty good on food, which is awesome. So we had so much left over that we were able to give back, because with people not working, maybe they can't afford food right now. So we gave some of the food that we don't necessarily use for our animals back to the community. You know, they could just, we had to kind of ration it in a sense. You know, you couldn't just come get whatever you wanted. Tell us how many dogs you have, what size dog you have, if, you know, and we had some extra puppy pads and that kind of thing. But I mean, we did have a few people that came around there, and unfortunately they were like still asking me the other day. I said, well, we're not doing that anymore, but there are some other pet food banks. So I did refer them to that, because it's a hard time for everyone. And I'd hate for them to have to give up their pet because they can't afford to feed their pet right now. So, you know, if that helps them keep their pet, then, you know, we'll do what we can do.
Yeah, that's so great, because I know we've talked to a few other rescues, and that's the one side of their business they're saying that has slowed down entirely is donations, is because, I mean, they can't have events right now. They can't do so many of the things that they've relied on for so long. So that's incredible that that's not somewhere that you're hurting, and more than that you're able to turn it around and ensure your community is taken care of. That's so great.
Right. And we did have Kentucky has like a 24-hour online giving day, and we participated in it last year, and it was our first year. It's fairly successful. Because we had to cancel like one of our big fundraisers in March, I was starting to panic because donations were slowing down. But we had that event. I said, you know what, I'm just going to push as hard as I can for this event, and I want to try to raise $5,000. And we did. And, you know, some of it was offline donations. Some of it is donations that we're going to be getting later on. But I said, I'm totally counting anything that gets confirmed this day. I'm counting it. So, I mean, I think we even raised $6,000 for that event. So, and, you know, there's a lot of different like organizations, different types of organizations that participate in it. And luckily that exists, because I think it really helped a lot of organizations during this time. We don't have another event, like a fundraising event, until August. So although that was great, I've got to make it stretch. So, you know, and maybe as people get back to work, they will get back to donating. Like, you know, I think that, well, actually, I just had a gentleman call me. He's bringing a donation tomorrow that he got with he's donating his stimulus money. So I thought that was really nice. And he has set out like for several organizations. He's dividing it up between several organizations. So I thought that was really, really nice. And he might even get a shout out on Facebook because, you know, most people, maybe he didn't need the money as much as other people needed the money, but he is doing something good with the money. So that's, you know, I just think it was really sweet.
That is really sweet.
Yeah, I mean, that's, the heart that have come out of people during this time is pretty incredible.
And you do see that, like, as hard as it, you know, it's so hard to stay strong sometimes mentally. You know, I always worry. I worry all the time anyway. And then when this happened, I'm like, okay, we're going to have to just make it stretch. And that's what we're doing. You know, we'll make it stretch. It'll be okay. Maybe we can't take on as many animals because, and then, you know, our vet's just now getting back to normal too. So I've got animals that I have to get in, and because now they're behind, but I mean, vets they weren't even allowed to do spay or neuters. So they definitely weren't going to do any shots. So now we're getting back to normal slowly with that. And I've had to make a plan for that. So as we take new animals in, that will be a little bit easier to do now. So that helps, because we did actually kind of close our intake, because if we can't vet them, they're just going to sit there anyway. Right. So it was a mess, and I hated it, but it is slowly getting back to normal. And I'm starting to feel a little bit better about it. I mean, it's either you can just worry yourself to death, or you can just do the best you can and know that it's going to be all right one way or the other. I mean, in the rescue world, people will fight hard for them, and they will do whatever you can or whatever they can to make sure that they're okay. I mean, that's one thing about the rescue community, is that, you know, we'll help each other out, and that, you know, I communicate with other rescues and shelters I've even checked in on them. Are you guys okay? Do you need anything? You know, and I've got some food to take to some of them, and puppy pads, and because, I mean, it's hard on animals too. I mean, obviously you've got to take care of your family, you've got to take care of your children, but it's hard because people aren't going to adopt. They might abandon their animal, you know, they might make decisions that they wouldn't normally want to make had this not happened. So, and then you've got and then, you know, you don't know if it affects animals or not, because some have tested positive, and then you've got the people that are worried about that, and then they'll give up their animals for that. And so it is a crazy time for sure.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll get through it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds
2 months ago, I wouldn't have been so positive.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When all this first happened, it was complete panic attacks and, you know, stress and anxiety up to here. But that was not getting me anywhere. So I had to stay focused to be able to do what I needed to do to take care of them. So I just kind of had to change my mindset and attitude about everything and just take care of them. And so far that has worked out.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like, maybe as terrible as it is, you're used to like looking a hard situation in the face and being like, okay, how do we turn this around?
Right. Well, because, you know, when it first happened, I'm like, okay, are they going to like completely lock everyone down? Like, how am I going to get there? Am I going to have to like live there for 2 weeks? Like, you know, it was literally, I didn't know. Luckily I have volunteers that were close enough that if they needed to be taken care of and I couldn't be there, I mean, that's always, even like weather related things, because it kind of floods around our little town. If I couldn't get there for some reason, there's someone that's like literally within walking distance. So, you know, I wasn't completely worried about it, but then I just was like, okay, I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to type a letter. This is a list. We were deemed essential. So that was great. I was like, once I knew we were deemed essential, that kind of was a weight lifted off my shoulders, and I could go just do what I needed to do. And we've been rolling since then.
Yeah. I mean, so you've been doing this for a minute here. And I mean, before COVID even, I mean, there were so many hard things that I'm sure you had to experience. I know that we've seen like just like a tip of it with like some of the fundraisers we've helped with. So I'm wondering, like, for you, I mean, I guess why rescue? I mean, it's difficult. I don't know, maybe that's a silly question to ask, but I mean, like, you started out fostering, And then now you're so in love with it that you're managing this big facility.
So that whole thing kind of fell into my lap, but as far as why rescue, I don't, this may sound kind of cheesy, but this is the God's honest truth is I've literally been rescuing animals since I was able to walk. So when I say it's like in my blood, it really is in my blood. One of my favorite pictures that I have framed in my living room is me holding my favorite cat. His name was Enos, and this big fat cat, and I'd push him around in a doll stroller. I mean, so I've always just kind of been drawn to animals. I don't have children of my own. Luckily, I've got a very supportive family and husband, and I was a paralegal for 10 years. So when the opportunity came up to kind of do this full time, first of all, I'd never really ran a business before. And in a sense, you have to look at it like a business when you're taking over, for that kind of thing. And I can't say I even know what I'm doing now. I mean, I've gained some experience just through doing. But he told me, he was like, Heather, I want you to be able to do what you're passionate about while you can. He says, because you're not going to be able to do it forever. And then, at some point, it's going to be too late to be able to do it. So we ran with it, and just here I am, now almost 6 years later, going at it like full time. So I don't know how much longer, I just take it like year by year and see how it goes. I'll probably never quit the whole thing, but because I don't think I can ever quit it. Like you don't ever really like just give it up. I don't think. If someone that's extremely passionate about it, you can't completely give it up.
Yep.
But I may have to like go make real money one day. Now it's more, I make a little money. I don't make a lot. I make it, just enough. I didn't. But
yeah. No, I feel like that's what we've heard too. Is like
compared to being a paralegal, it's not
oh,
good.
Yeah. Oh man.
But that's not why I did it. I did it because I'm on a mission to make it, I want it to grow. I want it to be, obviously a little bit bigger than what it is. There's things I want to do in the community. I would love to eventually be more involved with like community spay and neuters and that kind of thing. A lot of change in the mindset around where we are though, because a lot of older generations are around, and it's a rural area, and there's a lot of like not spaying and neutering going on. So if we change one mind, then we're doing good. So we're trying, and people have become more accepting of us over the years. First they weren't real accepting of us around there. They didn't know what we were about, and as the years have gone on, I think that it has helped the community because they know what we are and why we're there, and that we're there just to help. So it's definitely helped some for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like you're working to build a better community for the future generations. It might not be exactly where you want it to be right here and right now, but
right,
these people's children and their children, you're leaving behind a really good legacy.
Yeah, and I love how you're saying. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you're fine.
Well, I love that's. No, I love how you were saying too that you're running it like a business, and so because of that, I mean, you can make these aspirational goals because like you have a plan, and eventually you will achieve those goals. So I mean, we work with so many small rescues that are maybe like just a couple of people, totally foster based. I mean, obviously that's where the organization started out at one point. So, I mean, for you, for these smaller rescues, what would you say is like a key for growing and developing their rescue effort?
Just to keep a long-term goal in mind. I mean, we got lucky that we ran across a gentleman in Texas who's an attorney who had that building, and he works with a lot of rescues there. I literally call him the angel from heaven because he just he fell into our laps, and he is still very much part of our rescue. He's He sent a guy up to make a commercial, and he's trying to get that on the air here and there where he's at. I mean, he really does work hard because he's really proud of us, and he literally didn't know us. Like he I guess maybe researched rescues in the area when he bought the building, but he didn't know us, so he took a chance on us. So I mean, there's always someone out there watching you. There's always someone out there researching you. And as far, if you're a rescue, and if you're doing good work, that angel from heaven may come along, because people are watching you. The public watches you. There may be that person that comes along and say that has a place that you can house your animals, and then, you can do more for the community. If you've got a long-term goal, then just keep in mind that the hard work eventually will pay off. And, you can have all of that one day. We don't have a perfect facility. Our facility is really old. It's got concrete walls and a good roof. And, the rest is left for some improvement. We could be more energy efficient, because it is an older elementary school, obviously. So there's lots of things that we can improve at, but we've got to start. We've got a good foundation. The animals are happy, and we just kind of build from there. We've got about 7 acres in a 20,000 square foot building. So we've got room that we can work with. Can we get there right now? No. And it's going to take many years or a lottery ticket to achieve our goal. I'm going to go with the hard work and the little at a time, because you can't rely on the lottery, but it can still happen. So don't, even in frustrating times, don't give up on that dream, because if you have that dream and you have that goal, you've already got the heart. Just use good business sense and you'll achieve it one day.
No, that's, such good advice. And it seems like it might be common sense, but I think sometimes when you're so passionate, you kind of, I don't know, like muddles your vision, and you just like impulse, like pull dogs and do all sorts of things.
We've done that before too. I mean, you can't help it.
Right.
You can't help it sometimes. And like with little Houdini, we knew that we would probably have him for a long time. And I have him here at my house, and I'm in love with the little guy. The little guy teaches you a lot about like determination, because he does not to him, he's not disabled. I mean, he doesn't know that he can't use his back legs, and he can actually use his back legs. If he slows down, he can walk a little bit. So we are making some progress. He recently, though, like pulled a muscle in his neck, because he's super rough. He's 25 pounds, and he plays with my 85-pound pit bull like he's 85 pounds. So I'm sure, and she's as gentle as she can be with him. He's rough, but that has slowed him down, so he's been able to walk better. Because when he is like full on 100%, then he loses his balance more, and he flies in those wheels. So he teaches you a lot about determination. He really does. I think that's why I love him. He's so smart, and he's just got that, he doesn't let anything get him down. And if he wants to get to something, he will get to it. Like he's very determined. He does lack some manners though. So I'm going to start him in training as soon as he gets to, and I think it's because, people baby him. I mean, even my 85-pound pit bull babies him. She lets him get away with everything. And it's like she knows, because she's very nurturing. And yeah, he needs to learn a few manners. You can't go take toys from other dogs' mouths. That's rude. You can't do that. But no, I mean, we knew, like we had discussed it. We knew that it was gonna, I mean, he may even be like a forever dog, and that's fine. Like we knew that going on here. And I mean, I've discussed it with my husband that he might be a forever dog. Like, and that's one reason why we're doing training, because the physical disability is hard enough to find someone that can handle that. If he doesn't have manners, that's 2 strikes against him. So at least if he has a few manners, that might help. And it will have to absolutely be the perfect home before he leaves here. I mean, it's just got to be that like right person. It just has to be. because he's very, very, I mean, I feel like that with every dog, but it's a lot to take on. It's a lot to take on. They're going to have to, he's probably always going to have some sort of maintenance therapy. Right now we're doing it every 3 weeks. He kind of had for a while, he just wouldn't walk at all. And I didn't know if he'd hurt himself again, if he was just being lazy. And we think maybe his knees were tired. Like he had worn out his knees a little bit. I mean, I don't know, but the acupuncture, it's like the electronic, I don't know a lot about it, but it seems
really good things about the acupuncture.
Right. It really is helping with him. And we do a lot of like laser therapy and stuff like that. And it does make a difference. But will he ever like full on walk well? Probably not. But that maintenance therapy helps. So someone's going to have to probably always do that. He still has to have a belly band. So, I change his diapers and all that stuff. And I don't have a problem with it. But, it's a lot to take on.
Yeah.
Well, and how old is he?
He is only, let's see, I think he's almost 6. So he's still, fairly young.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because he's so gray. So
I know.
He looks like he's a sophisticated old man.
I gave him a haircut lately. So he now sports a mohawk.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Send us a picture.
Yeah, we can include it. We'll include it in a little, we have to do a little.
Yeah, I'll have to. And we're doing one fundraiser that we're doing this year, and we've never done it before. We have a poker run every year. A motorcycle club they put on charity rides. And this is 60. So this will be our 5th year this year, as long as everything's going well. We're planning on having that in August. Last year it raised like $10,000. So it was really, really big last year. So it kind of gave me and my husband, we were discussing one day the idea, because he has a Harley and he rides too, of doing a calendar. So we came up with like mutts and motorcycles. So I arranged this photo shoot earlier this month. Some of their group came, some of our group came. Some brought their dogs that they had adopted from us. Otherwise, we used like our current rescue dogs. And I brought my 2 pit bulls. They were in our picture with us, but Houdini's going to be on the cover of that. So he's like posing with 2 Harleys. Of course, I had to be in it because he wouldn't sit still, but he's in his wheels in the middle of 2 motorcycles. So he's like our little spokes dog, I guess.
Bad to the bone.
And our cover model this year. So
that's so sweet.
I know.
I think with some of those smaller dogs, especially when they, I don't know, have so much joy and they are so cute, it kind of makes sense why I think a lot of people maybe let them get away with a little bit more.
Exactly.
A little more naughty behaviors.
Definitely. Well, so do you have personal pets at home too? You said cats.
I have. So I live out in the country too. So I do have a couple of like barn type cats. They literally just showed up here. So once I was able to catch them and get them fixed, they were kind of just stray or feral. I figured that they would just live stray or feral, but they did not. They live on my porch and they get to come in like with bad weather, and we've got some room upstairs that they can go hang out, because it's kind of hard to have everybody in the same room sometimes. I have a 15-year-old beagle. I have Willie, who just showed up out of the blue one day, and I guess he's about 10 now. And I've had him since he was a puppy. He showed up in 2011 out of the blue. We looked for a home. He was already neutered. So, I mean, he belonged to someone. Someone just dumped him. I mean, we live in an area I live close to the county shelter. Someone just probably dumped him, but he's a feisty little dog, and he does not like my pit bull Dixie. So we do have to keep them separate, and it is really not her fault at all. He actually has attacked her a couple of times. He's just, and he has little dog syndrome though, because he's only like 25. He's about the size of Houdini.
Oh wow!
So he clearly has little dog syndrome. So and you know how the little dogs are. They think that they're 10 foot tall and bulletproof, but he is not.
Got a few at home like that.
Right. I mean, it's just who he is. He's just. And then I've got Dixie and Rascal. Both are. I mean, I guess all of mine are rescues in a sense, except maybe my 15-year-old beagle. She was an accidental litter, and at one point I had 4 of the 7 out of the litter, and I had 5 out of the whole litter, because the person that had him, I mean, he just left him in a kennel the whole time and never did anything with him. And I knew he didn't have a lot of time left, but I couldn't stand it anymore. So I convinced my husband to talk him into taking him, because that was my baby's brother, and I didn't want him to like not get to enjoy even being on grass, because he wasn't even on grass. So he lived the last couple months of his life just playing with his brothers and sisters, and that was that. But Dixie came from Barktown Rescue, so we fostered her for 2 years, and she wasn't an easy dog by no means. She came to the rescue at 4 months old, and she was abused and turned into the shelter. It was a stipulation, because the cops had witnessed him slamming her on concrete, domestic violence call, one of those things. So the deal was he had to surrender her to the shelter. So we got her, and she was bad. Like, she was a bad puppy. She was hard to handle. She was already a big puppy and hard to handle and no manners. She was not getting along with the animals at the shelter at all. She would try to fight with them through the kennels. So I said, you know what? I think she needs just to come home with us. Like, I feel like if she follows Rascal's lead, because I'd already had Rascal and I did professional training with him, that she would learn from that. And she did. We did an adoption attempt. We did adopt her out one time, and she was returned in 24 hours. So we had her on several meet and greets, and she would just act horrible. So we finally convinced ourselves that she was just meant to be with us, because she didn't act that way with us. And she has since, within the last year, gotten a canine good citizen, because we did some training. We did training with her, and she's actually the best dog we have. Out of all the dogs we have, she's our best dog, and she's our nanny dog, and she loves kids, and she's not bad with other dogs. I mean, she doesn't take any nonsense off anyone. We call her the fun police. You're not allowed to have fun around her. But she's just a very nurturing, very loving dog. And then Rascal, he was a foster failure also for another organization before I got involved with Barktown. I had a Shih Tzu for 17 years. He was my childhood dog, and I had to have him put down. At 17, he lived to be 17, and that was really hard on me, with that being, when you have your childhood dog and you lose your childhood dog, that's really hard. So that's kind of when I started fostering. It was before Barktown, but I saw this little puppy at this little Easter egg hunt, and it was with that organization. And then in a few days, they were looking for a foster for him, and he had parvo at like 2 weeks old and was hospitalized, and the owners wouldn't pay for him, so they surrendered him to the vet. So that's when the organization took over. So I convinced my husband I really needed to foster this puppy to take my mind off everything, and I couldn't stand it. It was like 2 months later, and I'm begging him to keep him, and we've had him since he was 6 weeks old. So he's definitely a baby, and you can tell he was not raised by his actual birth mom, and he was raised by us, because he acts kind of human and bratty. So that speaks for our parenting skills, I think, because we've spoiled them so bad. But I don't know. He's actually better in public than at home. At home, he acts a little, well, like a toddler.
Yes.
Like a toddler, because he's spoiled. So, but we wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, we've got a lot of animals, but we wouldn't have it any other way. So
yeah, I mean, I'm so jealous. You have so many. You have space. You have animals. That's not anything that we have here in California.
That's super understanding, and I feel like if I bring another animal home, I'm gonna get yelled at.
Eventually, I probably would hit a breaking point, but right now I'm doing pretty good.
Nice. Well, so we have some fun questions. So you can pick whatever. Doesn't even have to be a dog. Any of your pets in your home, or but if your pet dog was president, what would be the first thing he did?
Um, let's see. That's probably a Rascal question because Rascal's the most human. Um, what would Rascal want to do first? He would definitely, gosh, I don't know. That's such a trick question as to what Rascal would do. Because Rascal is like, he seems to be annoyed with a lot of different things and he thinks he's smarter than everyone else. And let's be honest, he probably is. So it would definitely
Yeah.
it would not be like an equal democracy. He would want to take over and just be a full-on dictator and be the boss of everything. And he definitely would have his own throne that he laid on because he had the couch is his at home. There would definitely he would probably enforce a lot of stick throwing because that's his favorite thing to do, and he loves to swim, so he would probably keep public pools and lakes and parks and things like that open 24/7 so that he could go swimming whenever he wanted. Those would probably be the things.
That sounds so nice right now.
Camping, that was the one thing I was like really upset about because we do love to go camping and we have a lake that we go to, but we're going in a couple of weeks, thankfully. So, and he does love to like, he's very OCD about things. He has to have a routine, but he will clean out the lake. If there's sticks in the lake, he will go get them out because he doesn't like them in there, and he puts them in a little pile. So that's his favorite thing is to get sticks and go swimming.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. So what is one trick he or one of your other pets have taught you?
Gosh, since they pretty much have me trained to do anything that they want.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a lot of personalities to balance too.
I've got a lot of personalities, but it's so funny. If they're out of water, we know it. They'll go and like pick the whole thing up and scoot it across the floor or throw it across the floor to let us know that it's time to get us water. Now, Rascal loves water bottles, and I can sit there and drink, like in the process of drinking my water, and he throws a fit. So I guess the trick he teaches me there is I have to drink it fast so that he can have it because he's not going to shut up until I give it to him. So
Oh
there
my
there
gosh.
is that. Yeah, I'm telling you, he's rotten. And Dixie's the one that will move the water bottle because we don't get to it fast enough for her. And they have to have a fountain. They have a fountain. One of our cats, loved running water. So, and if we don't have that on, she comes in and lets us know we have to go turn her fountain on. So they really do.
Oh my
They've
gosh.
got they're all quirky.
It's kind of fun though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, keeps
They're
things
entertaining.
interesting.
Yep.
Okay. Well, so for the last question, if you had to pick one life motto, what would it be?
One life motto. I always say just go with the flow. While it's great to have a long-term plan on things, you've got to kind of just go with the flow, and because things are there's going to be bumps in the road. Things are not going to be perfect all the time, and if you're not like prepared for that, then you're in for a rude awakening. So sometimes you just have to go with the flow, and you have to deal with the present and know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and you just have to get through it. So I do say that I'm just going to go with the flow. Whatever happens, we'll figure it out, and I've kind of had to learn to do that because my husband, I refer back to him because he's the calming nature of the two of us. He's the calm one. He doesn't stress out, and I'm the one that stresses out. So he's kind of taught me to just go with the flow, just calm down, and it'll all work out, and we'll figure it out. So I've kind of gone with that and rolled with it.
That's great.
Yeah,
No,
that's a great one.
I feel like, especially right now,
Mhm.
it's a very good model.
What else can you do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like you can stress and stress, but it's going to happen anyways. But
Yep.
well, thank you so much for
Thank
chatting
you.
with us. Yeah, We love
Anytime.
Barktown. Love
We
Houdini.
love you guys. You guys have been great and been a great platform for us. I think that we've definitely gotten more donors because of you guys. So, and more recognition, like people know and have heard of Barktown more. So, and that means a lot because the more you can get your name out there, the better off.
Yeah, definitely. People are always watching, right?
Yeah.
Always
That people
watching.
are always watching.
Well, thanks again. It was so nice talking to you.
You too. Thank you guys.
So talking to Heather today was simply amazing. That's really the only word that I can choose to describe it. What she's doing is absolutely incredible. What the entire organization of Barktown is doing is incredible. Not only are they helping out animals in need, taking in medical cases from their state as well as other states around them, they are focusing on educating their communities and making the future for animal welfare better in the state of Kentucky, which is absolutely great.
Absolutely. If you want to learn more about Barktown Rescue, you can find it on our blog at cuddly.com, or you can check our show notes. Don't forget to rate, like, and subscribe. We'd love to hear from you. And you can also follow us on social media at We Love Cuddly. That's CUDDLY. Thanks, guys.